I haven't done one of these videos in a while. I'm calling this the next in the series, Listening to Music. And I gotta tell you, man, listening to this album, Buddy Holly Lives, it almost made me cry. It was so damn good. So damn good. I still, to this day, do not feel that Buddy Holly gets nearly the accolades and the raves he deserves. This man was a genius, and I will put him on the top pantheon of rock and roll musicians, including Elvis, including, well, Bob Dylan, Chuck Berry, guys like that. And he's got to be damn near the top, if not at the top. I picked this up at a thrift store. I have another copy of it somewhere in storage. This copy was not that good. Had some warpage. Side 2 played great. Side 1 was a wrestling match, and I had to kind of temporarily press the thin MCA vinyl to try to get it to play halfway decent. The cartridge in my Pioneer PL300, the Audio-Technica, it's a good cartridge, don't get me wrong, but it does not track nearly as well as, let's say, the Shure 97XE. That 97XE probably would have played both sides of this just perfectly. But you use the tools that you've got available. The Shure is also in storage. But let me flip this over. You're gonna find on side 1 a lot of the songs that you may be familiar with, and just about all his top hits. There may be a song on there. Well, I've heard Heartbeat before. I've heard Listen to Me, and then all the other ones, for sure, I've heard. Side 2, It Doesn't Matter Anymore, It's So Easy, Well, All Right, which is probably my favorite Buddy Holly song, Rave On. And you've got a few wild cards here. I had never heard this one before, Raining in My Heart. True Love Ways, of course, I've heard. I wasn't crazy with this version of Peggy Sue Got Married. They added all kinds of background vocals and strings. And I like the stripped down original version that I'm accustomed to. Bo Diddley was pretty good. Written by the Bo Diddley, Elias McDaniel. True story, I saw and met Bo Diddley at a concert hall in Lowell, Massachusetts, and he was a cool cat, let me tell you. Bo Diddley is a cool guy. Was a cool guy. Brown Eyed Handsome Man is a Chuck Berry song. He did a nice version of that. Wishing was probably like this album's best kept secret. It was a great song. It really was great. But I want to talk a little bit now about the sound of this album. This came out in the late 70s. I think it might have been 1978. I don't know the whole backstory behind it, but something to the effect of Universal licensed to EMI this collection, and EMI released it in Europe, and Universal MCA released it in the US. It sounds wide open, it sounds spacious, it sounds a hell of a lot better than that Buddy Holly from the original master tapes compact disc that came out in the late 80s, which it's funny, everyone raved about that compact disc at the time and thought it was like the next coming of Buddy Holly. You listen to an original that master from the late 80s and that compact disc sounds terrible. I don't know if they've remastered it again since, but the sound on this album blows it away. Now, talk about the mix, and they did something, well, they did a few things on this collection. They added some kind of like a fake pseudo stereo, which is not that bad. Because you don't get Buddy's vocals in the middle. You don't get a sound stage, so you get that kind of like fake vocals on one side and then instrumentals on the other. But then you've got all kinds of background vocals that weren't there before, and I can only think that they were indeed from the Crickets, probably original background vocals, but those weren't there on the versions that I remember and that I've listened to. On Peggy Sue Got Married, man, they went way overboard, and I love that song as just a stripped down Buddy and his guitar. I don't know, I wasn't crazy about it, let's put it that way, but I'm gonna close out this video and just read you what's on the top of the back of this album. In just 18 months, Buddy Holly recorded 9 top 10 smash hits. He was ahead of his time. He died before his time. His music lives on. I don't think they could have summed it up any better. And then they subtitle it 20 Golden Greats. What a tragedy that we lost this guy. And, you know, a lot of people, they particularly do this with Ritchie Valens. And they hypothesize and say, well, what had happened if that plane didn't go down in Clearwater, Iowa? What would have happened if Ritchie Valens lived? What would have happened if Buddy Holly had lived? Honestly, I think Buddy Holly would have gone on as a renowned, like a producer and an engineer, and you know, maybe a guy along the lines of like a Phil Spector, or, you know, one of those super producers. He was that good. The guy was brilliant. He already had this boatload of hits under his belt, and you know, if you watch a film like the Buddy Holly story, at the end they kind of drop a few seeds about some of his later work, and you know, getting more into the studio and engineering and producing. That's kind of like what I'd like to hope that Buddy Holly might have done. Maybe he could have produced and written stuff for Elvis. I mean, they were contemporaries, and as far as I know, I don't think they were friends, but they met each other and had a mutual respect for each other. What could have happened? What could have happened if Buddy Holly and Elvis teamed up? You haven't listened to Buddy Holly? Try him out. This is a great album to get started. You know, like I said earlier, they did some things and some crazy mixing and, some questionable vocals, but don't let that, I'll go back. Some questionable background vocals. Buddy's vocals are just impeccable. You know, it's funny. I said I was going to close this out earlier. Maybe I'll close it out now, but my brother used to make fun of me for liking Buddy Holly, and songs like Not Fade Away, and he thought it had a kind of like a hillbilly sound. And the irony is, my brother was a huge Rolling Stones fan, and who did the Rolling Stones worship and remake but Buddy Holly songs? The Beatles. My brother, I love the Beatles, and my brother loved them as well, but they worship Buddy Holly. Not Fade Away. Of course, you have a great Rolling Stones version of that. There's all kinds of songs on here that were so influential. I want to say the Beatles did a version of Words of Love. I'm pretty sure that's one of the big ones that they did. But try this guy out. You want to figure out where the roots of rock and roll came from and how this guy was influenced by black R&B and soul music and I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Not rockabilly. There's a huge rockabilly influence in this stuff. You try to stay still to any of these songs. I dare you. Honest to God, they're infectious. They're addictive. They make you move. They move your soul. I'll get off my soapbox. Go listen to some Buddy Holly. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Take care for now.